In many workplaces, performance is translated into a single visible metric. Dashboards display weekly scores beside employee names and team averages. Promotion committees review those dashboards during quarterly advancement meetings. The system therefore begins with measurement as the central operating structure. Managers rely on the metric to summarize work they cannot directly observe. Employees quickly see which number appears in promotion discussions. The rule is simple. Higher metric score increases the probability of promotion or title change. Lower scores delay advancement and increase assigned workload during review cycles. Reward and penalty therefore travel through the same measurement channel. The number on the dashboard becomes the visible currency of progress. Every employee reads the same signal from the system. Improve the metric. During a weekly reporting cycle, an employee faces a small operational choice. Spend 2 hours solving a complex client problem, or complete 5 quick tasks that raise the dashboard score. The metric counts completed tasks. The client problem does not immediately change the number. The employee selects the 5 quick tasks. The dashboard updates within minutes. One small decision. The review spreadsheet now shows improvement. Managers interpret the updated score as higher productivity. The employee repeats the same decision pattern next week. Other employees observe the visible improvement in the shared dashboard. They replicate the tactic to maintain competitive scores. Short tasks multiply across the workflow board. Complex issues accumulate quietly in the unresolved backlog. The system records rising completion counts across the team. Operational capacity has not increased. The first lock occurs during the next monthly performance meeting. Managers compare employees using only the dashboard ranking. Promotion eligibility is discussed using the metric table. The rule becomes institutional. Metric improvement equals recognized contribution. Work that does not move, the number disappears from conversation. Another micro decision appears during a busy afternoon. An employee notices a lingering operational bug affecting multiple clients. Fixing it requires coordination and several hours of investigation. Logging minor tickets would immediately increase the metric. The employee logs minor tickets. The dashboard climbs again. The bug remains unresolved in the system queue. The measurable signal strengthens. Meanwhile, managers depend on the same dashboard to allocate resources. Teams with higher metrics receive recognition in weekly briefings. Teams with lower metrics receive additional reporting requirements. Coordination begins to fracture between managers and employees. Managers ask for higher metrics. Employees respond by increasing metric-friendly activity. Neither group directly observes the growing operational backlog. Reports show improvement. Capacity stays unchanged. In sprint planning meetings, the backlog column grows longer each week. The dashboard, however, displays steady upward performance trends. Managers interpret the numbers as evidence of efficiency gains. Hiring decisions begin referencing the same metric thresholds. New employees learn quickly what activity increases their score. The system teaches the rule through visible outcomes. Metric first, work second. More employees optimize their daily task selection around measurable actions. Short cycle tasks dominate the workflow board. Long resolution tasks are postponed repeatedly across review cycles. The measurable distortion becomes visible in operations reports. Task completion rates rise sharply across departments. Customer resolution time remains flat or increases slowly. Support queues stretch across multiple weeks. Yet promotion lists correlate directly with dashboard scores. Local rational choices accumulate through hundreds of similar decisions. Each employee protects their metric position. Each manager evaluates using the same number. The feedback loop stabilizes. The metric now governs operational behavior. Dashboards guide daily priorities more strongly than underlying work needs. Teams schedule activities specifically to produce measurable increments. Reporting meetings celebrate rising scores across the organization. The unresolved backlog becomes normalized within operations dashboards. Another quarter closes with record metric performance. Promotion announcements rely on the ranking spreadsheet again. Employees with the highest numbers receive new titles. The incentive signal is reinforced publicly. The next cycle begins under the same rule structure. Metric logic spreads across every review conversation. Work that raises the number dominates task allocation. Work that does not remains hidden in queues. The system stabilizes around the measurement structure. Reported productivity continues rising each quarter. Operational capacity stays largely unchanged. Two systems now coexist. one visible in dashboards, one buried in backlogs. Managers observe improvement. Employees observe promotion patterns. The metric remains the governing signal. Coordination between evaluation and operations remains misaligned. The organization runs on numbers. The work system follows behind. Stable structure forms. Stable but inefficient equilibrium. As the organization grows, new employees are recruited through the same measurement logic. Hiring panels review candidate resumes beside internal performance dashboards. Recruiters begin asking for examples of high task completion numbers. Applicants with measurable output histories move faster through interview rounds. The hiring spreadsheet now includes the same metric column used internally. Candidates who describe complex, unresolved work appear less aligned with the scorecard. Candidates who demonstrate rapid, measurable throughput appear more compatible with the system. The hiring criteria slowly mirror the dashboard logic already governing employees. Metric familiarity becomes a selection filter. Training materials begin to reference the metric explicitly. The onboarding guide explains how weekly scores appear in performance reports. Example dashboards are displayed during orientation sessions. New hires are shown screenshots of high-performing employees. The examples highlight visible metric improvements rather than operational outcomes. The internal playbook begins to shift. Team documentation starts including sections titled Metric Optimization Practices. Managers circulate short guides explaining how to maintain consistent dashboard progress. Workflow templates are adjusted to break work into measurable increments. Project boards are reorganized around task count visibility rather than issue resolution depth. Internal language changes gradually inside daily stand-up meetings. How many tasks closed today? That question becomes routine. Another artifact appears inside the weekly report packet, a league table ranking employees by metric score. Managers review the table before planning workload allocation. Higher-ranked employees receive recognition during team briefings. Lower-ranked employees are assigned additional measurable tasks to improve standing. The feedback loop tightens quietly. The system grows larger each quarter. More employees submit activity reports into the same measurement dashboard. Oversight capacity, however, grows more slowly than the reporting volume. Managers cannot manually inspect each operational backlog entry anymore. Instead, they rely on summary dashboards generated automatically each evening. Information compresses into numbers. Detailed operational signals disappear from decision conversations. An employee closes 10 small tasks before the reporting cutoff. The dashboard shows strong performance for that day. The unresolved system issue remains buried in a support queue. The metric captures visible throughput, but not unresolved accumulation. This difference remains hidden during most review cycles. Time horizons begin separating inside the organization. Promotion signals appear every quarter through the dashboard rankings. Operational backlog consequences appear months later in system reliability reports. Those reports circulate in different internal documents. They are rarely discussed beside the performance dashboards. Short cycle reward dominates. Long cycle cost drifts outward. At scale, the metric continues amplifying certain behaviors. Hundreds of employees adjust task selection toward measurable increments. Project boards fragment into smaller and smaller ticket structures. Completion graphs rise steadily across departmental dashboards. Operational capacity remains constrained by unresolved core issues. Another internal guide emerges from management workshops. A short playbook describing effective metric maintenance practices. The document explains how to structure work to maintain steady weekly scores. Managers distribute the guide during team planning sessions. Employees replicate the examples shown in the playbook screenshots. The adaptation becomes standardized. Hiring criteria reinforce the same pattern again the following quarter. Recruiters now ask candidates about dashboard familiarity. Applicants describe strategies for maintaining visible throughput. Those responses align closely with the internal playbook. The system begins selecting people already fluent in the metric logic. Reinforcement becomes structural. Meanwhile, the backlog dashboard expands beyond a single screen. Support queues stretch across several pages of unresolved issues. Operational reports mention slower resolution times in monthly summaries. Those summaries circulate through a different reporting channel. Few meetings combine both views. Metric reports arrive weekly. Backlog reports arrive quarterly. The shorter reporting cycle dominates attention. A coordination gap forms between evaluation and operational monitoring. Managers track dashboard movement daily. Operational review committees meet less frequently. The two groups observe different slices of the same system. One monitors visible output. The other monitors delayed consequences. The signals rarely intersect during decision meetings. Another cycle of promotions is announced based on metric rankings. Employees interpret the announcement as confirmation of the measurement rule. The incentive signal becomes widely understood across the organization. Work continues shifting toward metric-compatible tasks. At this point, a question occasionally appears during operational discussions. Is the backlog growth entirely explained by system complexity, or partially shaped by the measurement structure itself? The answer remains uncertain. The reporting dashboards do not include that comparison. Scaling continues without altering the measurement framework. More employees submit work into the same reporting pipeline. Automated dashboards summarize activity across thousands of tasks each week. Managers rely even more heavily on the summarized numbers. Visibility narrows further. Operational complexity expands beyond direct oversight capacity. Metric signals remain clear and immediate. Operational capacity signals remain slower and fragmented. The system therefore reinforces the same behavioral pattern repeatedly. Local decisions accumulate through daily workflow selections. Managers allocate attention based on the same measurement artifacts. Hiring criteria reproduce the same incentive logic in new employees. Internal playbooks formalize the adaptation into accepted practice. The structure persists without central design. No rule explicitly mandates metric optimization, yet the measurement system quietly guides the organization toward it. The dashboard continues rising. The backlog continues expanding. Both remain visible, but rarely in the same conversation. By the next reporting cycle, the dashboard still shows consistent improvement. Weekly completion graphs trend upward across the same departments. Promotion rankings follow the same ordering visible on the score table. The measurement system continues rewarding the same observable signal. Meanwhile, operational reports continue documenting growing support queues. Resolution timelines stretch across longer service intervals. The backlog spreadsheet adds new pages each quarter. Those pages rarely appear beside the performance dashboard. Two records now describe the organization. One record shows increasing productivity scores. Another record shows delayed operational resolution. Both are produced by the same system. The metric remains accurate about what it measures. It records every completed task exactly as defined in the reporting rule. Managers rely on that measurement to allocate recognition and promotion. Employees respond by selecting work that reliably changes the number. The dashboard continues to rise. The operational backlog continues to expand slowly behind it. Neither pattern requires deliberate coordination. Each participant follows the same visible rule. The rule rewards measurable output during short reporting cycles. The system gradually reorganizes activity around that reward signal. Over time, the organization reaches a stable operating pattern. Reported productivity increases quarter after quarter. Operational capacity changes far more slowly. The measurement rule remains unchanged. Behavior continues